full-time RV living will put your marriage to the test.
Nah.
Imagine War of the Roses in an RV.
150 square feet?
What could go wrong? So in this video, we're going to let you in behind the veil and give you real life struggles of a husband and wife RVing.
I finally started to accept the fact that my wife is a constant organizer and she'll never be happy with anything.
Wow, that was so loaded.
Welcome back to the RV Odd Couple. My name is John.
And I'm Mercedes, and we're obviously still married.
We made it! We made it! 3 years full-time RVing, and we're still together. We actually enjoyed the heck out of it. But in this video, we're going to share some of the struggles that we dealt with.
You enjoyed the heck out of it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I had a blast, but man, I can't imagine living with me in 120 square feet.
No comment. But no, really, guys, we're going to let you in because it's hard. And RVs are small. There's nowhere to hide.
And because of our YouTube channel, not only have we survived marriage in an RV, but we've known thousands of couples all over the country have gone through struggles, right? The RV Odd Squad has kind of become our marriage counselors along the way.
Sorry, guys.
So in this video, we're just going to share some tips that we learned about. I'm going to show you some of the things that she does that drive me insane. And obviously a few things. There's not too much that'll drive you crazy about me, is there?
The whole sharing what I do that drives you crazy is nowhere in the script. This is already off to a really bad start.
All right, it's your script. Go, let it run. I'm just going to sit here and do color. Go.
It's already off to a really bad start. What do you mean the list of things I do wrong? Like, it'd be like this small. All right, so let's start with parking the RV.
The number one thing that will save your marriage is get backup cameras. Now, with that said, no couples are the same.
Yeah.
But we have literally witnessed people coming in to park their RVs, and the husband and the wife.
The fight that ensues.
The fight that will ensue, and it will wreck their weekend or their week. So one of the things,
their marriage, or their lives.
And a few things about this stuff is it took Mercedes and I about 6 months to really work it out. We call that the honeymoon phase, right? When you first set out, it's awesome. Freedom, independence, and adventure. You're having a blast.
We did a video at 90 days saying the honeymoon's over.
We got 9.
So it's not even 6 months, guys. You got 90 days of getting along, and then it's all.
But you things kind of settle in, and you start to know what each other's roles are, right? And,
this is a big one.
We worked our roles out, and one of the things that I insisted on doing after quite a few months of practicing RVing is that I would always park the rig by myself. Mercedes would not get out of the truck. She would stay there until I was exactly where I wanted to be, and then the kid will get out, the dog will get out, and Mercedes will get out.
Well, I think it's twofold. Number one, if the wife, the kid, and the dog are in the car, they're safe. You don't have to worry about hitting them. Like, all is good. It's quiet time, right? But we had to figure this out. We had to learn our roles. We had to stay out of each other's lane.
Yes.
So much could be written just about the parking, about figuring out your roles, about staying out of each other's way. But for us, backup cameras saved our marriage.
It really, truly did. Or at least it saved a whole weekend of just horrible things that would happen in our marriage, right?
Exactly.
So the backup cameras are a huge suggestion.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, guys, this isn't one size fits all. There's going to be couples that have walkie-talkies and they work great together. We've met those couples as well.
That's good for them, but they're probably not called the odd couple.
But for us,
they get along.
I would park the rig by myself. Mercedes would stay in the truck, and even if I could just go in 4 inches, get out, just always get out and check. Get out and check.
He needed to check for himself.
I just need to see it myself because Mercedes would be screaming stop, and I'd be 15, 20 feet from hitting anything.
Yeah,
so.
This is not 15, 20 feet. But let's move on to the next one, okay?
Next one.
You're already driving me nuts.
Let's go.
Okay, the whole staying in your lane piece. So there are so many details when it comes to the RV, setting it up, parking. There's so many details. So really figuring out what his role is and what my role is. And there was a time early on where he calls me the inspector. Where I would go outside, but he needs inspecting. I would go outside and check his work, and it
drove me crazy.
He considered it an affront to
Why are you checking what I've already done? And the truth is a few times, and as we got farther and farther into it, Mercedes caught some pretty serious things that I had missed. And so we have a checklist. I do the outside, Mercedes does the inside. But now, after a couple of years of RVing together, neither one of us get offended when the other one checks our work. It's always a good idea to double check everything you do, and especially when it comes to safety issues.
So he will do a walkthrough on the inside, I'll do a walkthrough on the outside, and it's not personal. There's no ego in RVing, right? That's a good one. No ego in RVing, because it's a team sport.
It's a team sport.
Yeah, and so this actually kind of ties also into, you mentioned that you'd made a couple mistakes, but never, ever, ever say, I told you so, because you're asking God to humble you, and it's going to suck when you have to say, I'm sorry, or when you hear, I was right on the other end. And let's be real, right? You're going to be the next one to make the mistake. So just stay really humble and never use the words, I told you so.
Ever. Again, guys, it's a team sport. And the longer you do this together, the better teammates you'll become. You'll know what each other is thinking. You know what each other is doing. Yeah. Checking on each other's jobs and making sure they're done. Have some humility. I really, truly had to humble myself. I was offended when Mercedes would go and check everything that I'd done. But I made a few really, really big mistakes early on that could have ended in disaster.
So it's not personal.
It's not personal at all. And I actually, the older I get, the more I want her to do 2 or 3
honey,
trips
double check for me.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was. That's funny. No, okay. And then the other piece, so RVs are really, really small, and storage is a big issue. Ugh. And the way that I see organization is that I see organizing as something that will constantly be flowing. There's no such thing as the perfect system. Whereas John, he installs a light. This is the screw. He puts it in the fruit bowl right under, and he's like, the screw lives there.
Okay, now you're getting ridiculous.
Move. No, it's so true. And then I move the screws with the other screws, because the screws should live happily all together. And he's like, what did you do with my screw?
So, my turn? So, one of the problems that I struggle with my wife, and I struggle since we've been married 15 years now, right, is that my wife likes to reorganize every few months.
It needs a freshening up.
Right, and so in an RV, you don't think this, well, where stuff goes, it goes, right? And that's how I like it. Stick a piece of tape there. That's always where that's going to be.
Forever.
Mercedes just has to mess with stuff. She'll move the spoons
I have to improve it
to where the forks were. She'll move the knives to where other stuff is supposed to be.
Better.
Drives me crazy. Even with my my toiletries. Okay, she is constantly moving around my toiletries.
They
so
look nicer.
I know where the nail clippers are, right? Well, they move every month or two.
To a better spot.
A better spot. So she's constantly reorganizing not only her life, but she's reorganizing my life, and it drives me crazy.
His life really needs the organization, guys. It's a full-time job.
The truth is, and I think a lot of the older gentlemen will agree with me, the older I get, the harder it is to remember things. And I just like to know where everything is. And I don't ever want it to move, because then it just gives me more stuff to think about. 90% of the time, I always have to say, honey, where'd you put the sporks? Honey, where'd you put the knives? Honey, where'd you put my shaving cream? This is just something that goes on, but I finally started to accept the fact that my wife is a constant organizer, and she'll never be happy with anything.
Wow, that was, that was so loaded.
Let her rip.
I don't think we should go there. That was so loaded. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you for being our marriage counselors, by the way. Oh my gosh, no, I'm moving it to a better location.
Okay.
So another thing that I do often to John, and I don't mean to, but it's that, so I have a decision to make, right? Do I put this in the fridge, or do I freeze the meat? I don't know if I'm going to cook it right now. Whatever the decision is. I'm like, hey babe, should I do this or that? And he'll give me his opinion.
Ugh.
And what happens is, as soon as I hear him vocalize the option, it no longer sounds...
She wants to argue about my answer.
It no longer sounds desirable, so I decide to do the opposite thing.
She loves asking a question that she already knows the answer to.
I don't know the answer to.
She just wants me to bite on the hook, so I'll say, well, I think you should do this. Why the heck would you want to do that? It's just something that happens constantly over and over and over again.
I'm just trying to weigh out the pros and cons.
But then ask a friend. Call a friend on the phone. Call your mother. I mean, call somebody. But she loves asking me questions that she already knows the answers to, and it drives me crazy.
I don't know the answers to.
So, you know, it took me about 12 years, but you know what I do now? When she asks me a question, I don't know, babe, what do you think? And then she'll answer her own question, and I'm off the hook.
Okay. Number one, if I called my mother, she'd agree with me. Okay, let's get that underway. No, you're right. You're right, John.
Thank you.
But don't expect to hear that again. You'll never hear that again. No, okay, the other thing that I like to do is, you know, I like spontaneity in my life, but I like controlled spontaneity. Whereas this guy likes uncontrollable spontaneity.
I hate planning. I hate calendars.
I love planning my spontaneity, and one of the ways that I plan.
How do you plan your spontaneity?
You put it in a box for the time.
Yeah.
So when I go shopping, for instance, I will get, you know, a new flavor of soap came out, so I'll try that.
God, I know where you're going with this.
Or I'll try like a new flavor of ravioli because it's new and improved. And this guy,
I just want what I like. That's it. I like Irish Spring soap. I like a certain type of shampoo. I like a certain type of razor blade. I like a certain type of bread. I like a certain type of meat. But see, Mercedes can't just do that. Mercedes has to try something new constantly.
Life is short. You need new things. You're going to die having only used Irish Spring.
But I like what I like.
But what about all the other soaps out there?
I don't care about the other soaps. I found the one I like. Just leave it alone. And don't move it on me. So I like Irish Spring. I like it in this spot. Don't mess with it.
So not only do I not buy him his Irish Spring, but then I move it.
Constantly moving it.
Improving it. I don't want to hear the comments. The comments on this video are going to be... the comments on this video.
Come on, guys. Pick it up, man.
Oh,
Does your wife do the same thing? Leave it in the comments below. You tell me. Am I crazy? Well, don't answer that question. She'll answer that for you. But tell me, you guys. What's it like living with your spouse?
Well, okay. So why don't we give him some of the solution? Because that is just the problem right there. You had some really good ideas. Like if I ask for help with something.
Yeah. If she ever asks me to help making the bed, RV beds are really difficult to make, and I'm always happy to help. But the longer and longer I am married, the best answer always is yes, dear. Always yes, dear. Help her whenever I can. Number 2, I do all the cooking.
He's a better cook than I am.
I love cooking. I enjoy cooking, and and so I do most of the cooking. But okay, where are we going now?
But that goes into figuring out your lane, because I don't mind doing the dishes.
Right.
And if it's up to me to cook, we will have frozen chicken.
That's true, because when I cook, I make a mess, and she's not afraid to clean it up.
I'm not afraid of doing dishes.
She loves doing the cleanup, so that's kind of how we worked it out.
That's like our lives. He likes making messes, and I like reorganizing
But the
them.
very first Thanksgiving we ever had together, 15, 16 years ago now,
this is bad.
she insisted. We got in an argument about who was going to make the gravy, right? And this argument went on for an hour and a half. Thanksgiving Day, I'm cooking this big thing, and this is the way my mother makes the gravy. We're going to do it this way. She argued and argued and argued. She finally, I said, you know what, just make it the way you want it, babe. Go ahead, I love you.
And I brought out the packet that I had bought. And he was like, what is that?
No, it gets worse than that. She doesn't eat gravy.
I don't like gravy.
She doesn't like gravy. So she has to do it her way, but she doesn't like gravy.
I didn't want the packet to go to waste. It's not good to waste food. No, but okay, so this is a big thing right here. Like, I have these idiosyncrasies that he's never going to understand. And he has these idiosyncrasies that I'm never going to get either. So just kind of learning to laugh at them is the only way this is going to work. Because if you can't
laugh, you'll be crying.
If you don't laugh, you'll be crying. That is so true. That is so true. Well, and the RV Out Squad has been married many, many years. This isn't just in an RV. A lot of this is life advice.
We had a couple from Seattle come out and visit us, married 72 years, you guys.
Yeah.
And you know, it's always fun sitting around a fire with other couples and talking about their experience. And most of us are all the same. Most husband and wife couples are odd couples, right? God puts us together because we're different. We complement one another. So truly, the things that drive me crazy are actually the biggest blessings I could ever have. And I'm grateful to have you as my partner. I love you more than you'll ever know. And I'm so grateful that you're on this journey with me. And but just don't move my soap. Leave my soap alone.
I love you too, and I'm grateful to be on this journey with you. The same goes with RVing full time. There was this initial honeymoon phase. We were so excited because we were, you know, shoulder to shoulder, embarking on this
you two against the world,
on this journey,
kid.
like the Titanic moment.
It's so fun,
but in an RV,
heading off into the sunset every night and going to brand new places you've never seen, experiencing God's world and God's nature, just in the most beautiful places.
But
you are going to hit the wall. Nothing, just in like life, guys, right? You've got the valleys and you've got the peaks.
Yeah, and don't have an expectation as far as, if anything, expect that it'll get tough.
Yeah, it's going to get tough, and you work through it together. One of the things that helped us get through it was prayer. We pray together every day in the morning and at night, and that's what helped us get through it. But and when you're in the really rough times, just know it's going to get better. It's not going to last forever.
It won't last forever.
And when you're really in the great times, enjoy it, because it's not going to last forever. You know? But the funnest thing about the RV lifestyle is the freedom, the independence, and the adventure. Getting out there, the two of you against the entire world. There's nothing like it. But it's still 150 square feet, and you still have to figure out a way to get together to make a good team.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the next video, we're going to do, we're going to show you kind of like a flashback from the past and show you what it was like in that honeymoon's over. We looked very different back then. I think we were, easy to say we were very different people. But when you look back, it's pretty cool to see, wow, you know, that journey.
How far we've come.
Because that's really what this deal is anyways, right? It's just a really long journey.
We'll see you in the next video.